Hello, Namaste. What's triggering the prices of silver and gold of late? One is the trade uncertainty, and the second, the oil uncertainty. It was Venezuela yesterday. Will it be Iran tomorrow? Welcome back to Know Things. In this episode, we will discuss about the ancient history of Iran. Why history? Because history is yesterday's geopolitics. And yes, history repeats itself. Modern map shows India and Iran doesn't even share a common border. India doesn't import any oil from Iran, and the geopolitical incidences between these two nations are scarce. But history tells otherwise. India and Iran, they were the twin civilizations born from a single civilization. They were separated at birth but constantly reaching out to each other, and later the religious turning led them into two completely different paths. How close were they? Well, they have nicknamed each other, and the whole ancient world knew them by these nicknames. Well, the way they named each other tells you everything. The word India comes from the original Sanskrit word Sindhu. The Sindhus were the people who were living in the Sapta Sindhu region, the land of seven rivers. The Persians called them Hindus, the people who live in the Hapsa Hindu. That became Indos, Indica, and India in Greek. And the word Iran comes from the Sanskrit word Arya. Iranian Veja was the Iran word for Aryavata. Later on, Aryan became Iran. From these names, we can see how similar were the Old Persian and the Vedic Sanskrit languages. They are so close that a sentence in Old Persian is just a phonetic shift away from the Vedic Sanskrit. Roughly around 1200 to 1000 BC, the timing is exactly not clear. In the region of Iran, there was a priest called Zarathustra. He was later on called as Zoroaster. This priest Zarathustra starts a rebellion, rejecting the ancient Rigvedic gods in the Hindu religion. It was said that he gets a dream about a supreme god called Ahura Mazda. Later on, he starts preaching that there is only one supreme god. That's when he left the Hindu religious way of seeing the gods. He deviates left and causes complete religious inversion. The Hindus see Devas as gods and Asuras as evil. Asuras are not actually purely evil, but they are somewhat not so good as gods. After his dream, Zoroaster completely inverted this philosophy and he called Asuras in Sanskrit, that is Ahuras in Iranian, as the gods, and the Devas as not so good. See the same words but opposite meanings. This marks the inflection point of the deviation of the twin civilizations. Fast forward to 700 BCE, the region of Iran was being ruled by the Medes Empire, and the last king was Astyages. And his name comes from the Sanskrit meaning Rishti Vega. That means the spear hurler. And the word Medes was Greek, and it comes from the Sanskrit word Mada or Madra tribe of the northwest. This was the ancestral line of King Shalya and Madri, the mother of Nakula and Sahadeva, in our ancient great epic Mahabharata. That was the era when India was the land of 16 great republics called the 16 Mahajanapadas, and the city Kashi or Varanasi was flourishing. The word Parasika was the direct equivalent of Persian. It was mentioned in the great epic Mahabharata. There was a king Raghu. He was described as the one who conquered the bearded, wine drinking warriors of the West, that is the Persians, those who fought on horseback. In our texts like Manusmriti and Puranas, the references to the Parthian dynasty was in the form of Pahlavas. The Greeks are called Yavanas and the Scythians were called Sakas. Our script Manusmriti describes Iranians as the Kshatriyas who fell from their status of Kshatriyas because they stopped the Vedic rituals and lost contact with Brahmins. Subscribe to Know Things to know what happened later. Thank you.